Hello, I'm Laura Kyle in Kuala Lumpur. The top stories here on Al Jazeera. Kenya's government is ratifying a new constitution on Friday. Its citizens approved the charter in a referendum earlier this month. It provides greater checks on presidential powers and gives more authority to local governments. It also gives Kenyans a Bill of Rights and paves the way for land reform. India has suspended a planned defence exchange with China in the latest diplomatic spat between the two Asian giants. Local media say India is retaliating after China refused a visa to a general from the disputed region of Kashmir. Beijing says he's not welcome because he controls an area which China partly claims. Former US President Jimmy Carter has secured the release of an American man who is detained in North Korea. Carter travelled to Pyongyang to negotiate the release of Ayalon Gomez. He's been held since January for illegally entering the country and had been sentenced to 8 years hard labour. Steve Chow in Seoul says North Korean officials also told Carter they were willing to return to nuclear disarmament talks.
The key moment was a meeting between Jimmy Carter and North Korea's #2 man, Kim Yong-nam. In that meeting, Kim expressed North Korea's desire to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula and also to resume six-party talks aimed at dealing with the nuclear issue. And that is key here because tensions on the Korean Peninsula have been extremely high following the sinking of a South Korean naval warship in March of this year. And there were questions as to whether Carter would be given some kind of diplomatic message to be taken home. That seems to be the case.
A civil workers' strike that has crippled public services in South Africa is now in its 10th day. Tens of thousands of workers staged mass demonstrations across the country on Thursday. The strikers are demanding an 8.6% pay rise, but the government is offering only 7%. The police union says it will join the strike if the dispute isn't resolved by Sunday. Diplomats from Latin America have arrived in Mexico to help authorities identify the bodies of 72 people murdered in the country's north. A lone survivor of the massacre says the victims were migrants heading to the United States who were killed after they refused to act as hitmen for a drug gang. As always, more news on our website. That's at aljazeera.net/English.